Okay guys, today we're going to be talking about delays. That first little piece that I displayed you there is just something I come up with today to sort of give you an example of really wet tone for more modern kind of, even in modern worship stuff. They use a lot of delays like that in other secular music also. So I just want to talk to you about what I use for these kind of songs. Let's start out. This guitar is actually a Strymon by Guild, and let me recommend, if you find one of these, definitely pick it up. These, I think when they first come out, they quit making them back several years ago, but I think they were $400 or $500, maybe $500 or $600. But they have great pickups in them. The Strymon company has always made really good pickups, and typically every one of these are a little bit different, so they all have their own tone, and I just love the tone of this Strymon. Actually, Eric Horner, a good buddy of mine, gave this to me, and I have loved this guitar. I've got to play it on a lot of cool stuff. Here's the tone with no delays and no reverbs. Okay, and I've got my window open today. It's just such a beautiful day here in Hendersonville, Tennessee. So you might hear a dog barking or something like that, but it's just too pretty not to let the sun shine in. So I've got the window open. Didn't want to turn the air on or anything. So anyways, okay. The delay I'm using is a Strymon Timeline delay, and I'm using like the Echoplex simulated delay in that, and I really love that. And if you notice the feedback, the highs are rolled off, and I've always loved that tone, especially for this kind of stuff, because it seems like you can just add so much more delay, and it just thickens up your tone. And I'm using a Dunlop volume pedal to do some of the swells. Also, if you listen to the feedback of the delay, it's got some modulation. And let me exaggerate that for you and give you an example of. And that's a. I mean, that can actually be a pretty cool tune. Pretty cool tone there, but I just sort of pull it back to that's just right for me. Okay, also what I'm using is a H9, and I'm using the black hole preset out of that, and let me just play you what that sounds like without the delay. Sounds almost like a black hole. So that's a pretty cool tone, you know, without the delay also. But if you really want it, you know, really wet, add the delay. And especially for like swells and stuff with the delay and the reverb, it's so cool. that's pretty much the tone of that particular little tune I came up with. And I've got the tempo set at 113, and typically, you know, you'd have a click going, so you'd set your tempo to whatever the click is. But this particular song, I'm not using a click, so I sort of got it where I wanted, and then I'm just listening to the delay, and basically it's setting my tempo. So that's one of the delays I like to use. Let me, and you know, before I show you a different type of delay that I like to use. Like maybe in a chorus, you're playing a song, and in the chorus it needs a little part, and just like a little single note thing, and say for those kind of parts, I mean, you hear those in sort of modern country music and modern pop music, but I love sounds like this where you don't have to play a lot like with that delay going. Let's move on to a different type of delay. I'm going to grab a different guitar. This is a Rose guitar built by Jonathan Rose back in the 80s, and just a really great guitar. I got to play on a Gaither video with my lovely wife, which we weren't married back then, back in the late 90s, and I got to play this guitar, and she sang a song on there, and I'm so glad I still have this guitar. But okay, so I'm going to go to the H9, and I'm going to go to Vintage Delays. Okay, on this guitar with the tremolo bar, and you can use the tremolo bars, you know, for dive bombs and all kinds of stuff, but one of my favorite ways to use it is to add just a little, it almost adds, you got modulation already to the delay, and this here just actually even moves that around even a little more. And then another cool thing is I think I actually stole this. I mean, we steal stuff from each other all the time here in Nashville. Yeah. But I think I actually stole this from Dan Huff. I heard him do this on a couple different records, but it was it's weird. I'm going from a C to a D, like the song say in G. So I'm thinking, there's my C, there's my D, and I'm not going to play the full chord. I'm just going to play the 6 and the 5 of the chord, and then I'm going to go down to the D, and I'm using my volume pedal sort of swelling in, and then just sort of, and actually what I'm doing in the middle of that is I'm bringing the volume pedal back down for that move.
Stay tuned for more.
Okay guys, we've talked about long delays, we've talked about short delays. Well, actually we haven't talked about short delays, so let's talk about short delays. You know, I use short delays on a couple different instances in the studio or in live, and one is on more chicken picking kind of thing, the more country stuff, and it's typically always with a Telecaster. And one of the first guys I remember doing that and really did it well and inspired a bunch of us was a guy named Ray Flack. And he played on all the old Ricky Skaggs stuff back in the 80s. And some of those solos are just timeless, just really great. He used a Telecaster, and I remember he played through a lab series. I believe it was a L7, had a built-in compressor which was part of the tone, and then also had some slapback delay that he used on the Telecaster, which just gave it another edge that I thought was really cool. So I'm playing my vintage 52 Tele, and it's through the Kemper profiling amp. I believe it's a Princeton. So here, let me give you the sound of this guitar through this amp with no slapback. Okay, now let's add a little slapback. And the slapback that I'm using is from the Line6 M9. It's the tape echo, and it doesn't have any feedback on it. It's just the one delay, and here's what that sounds like. Okay, there you go. That's pretty much the tone of that. I'm playing through a Keeley compressor, and you can actually squish the sound a little more, and it'll be a little more like Ray's tone back then. Let me turn this mic off so you can actually hear the guitar. So there you go, and that's with the sensitivity set on about 12 o'clock. Okay, another way I like to use slapback delay is a little more like Keith Richards would with the Stones. And you add a little overdrive. I've got a dirty little secret pedal that I'm going to use on this. And let me turn the delay off, and I'll play you just what the dirty little secret sounds like. And if you really want to get the Keith kind of sound, especially if you're doing a rhythm kind of thing, you can tune your A string down to a G. But if you really want to get the Keith Richards sound, just add some slapback. Here's the slapback with no feedback. Okay, I like to add a little feedback when I'm doing more of the Keith Richards thing. Here's the slapback with no feedback. And it's really not that much feedback that I'm adding, but it just seems to be a little more in line with his tone. So there you go. We've talked a little bit about delays today, and so thankful for you guys. So thankful that you're watching, that you're subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed, if you like this video, be sure to subscribe. And if you are a subscriber, be sure to hit the bell, and it will notify you next time we have a video coming out. See you guys next Saturday.